Buckle up, Buttercup. Live from Gloucester, Massachusetts. Podcasting around the world. You're listening to the Gloucester Cast Podcast, a production of Joey Shimataro and Good Morning Gloucester Media. Kick back, relax, and enjoy the show with your host, Joey Shimataro, and his crew of merry castaways. No piping plovers will be intentionally harmed in the production of this podcast.
Good evening, Gloucester. I am joined by the illustrious, famous, wonderful Terry Sands from the Annisquam Village Players. Terry, thank you so much for joining me. You got some stuff to talk about. You got a big event coming up.
We do. We have our cabaret on this Saturday evening, February 12th at 7:30. You can access it by annisquamvillageplayers.org. And for two reasons, because of COVID and also because the Village Hall is under construction, we are doing this show online and for this Saturday night. And when Joey started this, it reminded me of the time that he was in a production of Peter Pan. About 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I think you played a seagull.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Something like that on Neverland. We're going to have a scene from Peter Pan on our cabaret on Saturday night. We're talking about the technology that we've developed over the last couple of years that we're able to fly our actors into the audience as in Peter Pan. We're going to have that scene. And we also, a couple of years later, we did Singing in the Rain, and we had a guy singing the song, Singing in the Rain, with the umbrella and with the rain pouring down on the stage. And people who sat in the front row got wet because he kicked the water as he was singing and dancing. And I remember we warned people sitting in the front row, they better wear a raincoat. And we're going to have a scene from that in our cabaret on Saturday night as well. One of the interesting things about doing this online is that we're able to do some of our golden oldies, pulling some scenes from the past. And we've got 3 or 4 scenes from shows in the past that have been real crowd pleasers that we're going to show again, as well as a number of our current singers and dancers are going to perform in their own house, but they're doing songs that they've just done in the last week or two. Some of your favorite people that you've seen on stage. So it should be a good mix of the old and the new and what works technically and the flying. I'd forgotten how awesome it was with Peter Pan flying, and I just watched it last night, and boy, he flying right into the audience. This summer we're doing Mary Poppins, by the way, and there's some flying in that as well. So it was getting me all geared up for the summer show.
The link. So I just wanted to mention one thing, just so I could put it in the, because this is on Facebook right now, and people will be able to click an actual link. The link for people, and can you say the time and what is the actual URL where people can tune in for this?
Okay, you go onto our website, which is annisquamvillageplayers.org. And when you go on that, there'll be a little button to click for the cabaret, for the show. The show is free. It is a fundraiser for the Annisquam Village Players Scholarship Fund that we started about 4 or 5 years ago, where we give money to some of our kids who can't afford singing and dancing and acting lessons. And as all of you know, we have sent some of our kids off to Hollywood who got their start with AVP shows. So it's very exciting. And so even though you don't have to donate, we would appreciate you thinking about donating some money to the scholarship fund to keep these kids performing and working with us, and hopefully going out into the world where they can perform. You know, another one is Megan Downey, who was in some of our earlier shows, and she now sings nationally, all over the country. And so we're trying to foster an environment where these kids can continue to get their training with singing and dancing, and working with us beginning, and then go off into the big wide world.
Can you explain that program a little bit? Is it open to anyone, or is it just for Annisquam folks? And when does it start, and when does it kind of, like, what is the progression throughout the year? If someone want to get involved, like for next summer's production, right? How would that work?
Okay, we have a newsletter that goes on our website that we send out in like late April, May, announcing the show, announcing the parts that are available. And then we welcome everybody to come to auditions. Auditions are always the last weekend, it's Memorial Day weekend, on Sunday night. And then we have callbacks on Monday night. And it's not just by any means Annisquam people. It's wherever you are. If you have an interest in theater, most of our people come from the North Shore. We have had people come from Boston. But we welcome everybody. And as far as the scholarship goes, Joy, it's open. The only requirement is you have to have been in at least one AVP production. And if you've been in one AVP production, no matter where you live, we have an application you have to fill out explaining your interest in theater and explaining why, what kind of training you would like and why you need help. I mean, it's mainly for people who, don't have the money to spend on the arts, and that is what we're encouraging. But it's open to everybody. So if you fill the application out, and information on the scholarship fund will be on our website. So,
okay, that's fantastic. And I'll put that link up again. Also, what is the commitment? What's the commitment like?
For being in the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, you don't remember how you had to come over there? And
No, for me, I was just like a dunce standing in the corner. So I didn't have to show up for a whole lot of,
No, you didn't. But when you showed up in your, I think it was seagull costume, it was awesome. It really was an introduction to Neverland. The auditions, as said, are the end of May, and we start rehearsals the end of June. It's about a 8 or 9 week program. The show is always the second week of August, and we rehearse. We don't rehearse any weekends until the week of the show, Monday through Thursday night. And depending on the size of your role, if you're a lead, you're probably gonna. We break it down into blocking the show for singing, learning the songs, and for dancing. We have a choreographer and a music director who does for the singing, and then I do the blocking and acting out for the different scenes. So depending on you can become a part of AVP if you just want to be in a chorus line or something like that. You probably can get by with one night a week over the summer. And then, if you have a serious interest in want to be a lead, then obviously more time is involved.
And that Annisquam, I mean, it's such a magical place to be in the summer anyway. It's not a bad gig.
Yeah, no, we're a block away from the water, Lobster Cove. And I'll tell you, the kids in our show have a history of after rehearsal's over, they walk down a half a block and they're right there in the ocean. And they jump off the bridge. Everybody, I think, knows that bridge that crosses from Annisquam over to the road.
You call that Lobster Cove Bridge, right?
Lobster Cove Bridge. And the kids every summer it started back 20, 30 years ago. And the kids still do it after rehearsal. They go down and they swim off the bridge and jump in the water if it's high tide. And that tradition is still going on. So we're encouraging a lot of kids to come.
What a great space.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask if so this summer, I just lost my train of thought. But
Mary Poppins.
Goodness gracious. All right, no, go right ahead. I'll think of what I had to say.
Okay, yeah. So one of the exciting things we have done is we've traced our roots back to the Civil War, 1863, was the first performance of an AVP show. We think we are the oldest continually operating community theater in the entire United States.
Wow.
That's because amazing. Of that. And, we've traced our history back, and we're doing more and more research. The first show was done outside of the village hall, and it was written by the grandson of the minister of the church. He wrote the show, and kids who were going off to fight in the Civil War put this play on to raise money for them going off to fight in the Civil War.
Wow. Holy mackerel. That's something.
It's a pretty kind of interesting history to that. And we're doing.
I have my question. I have my question. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
But like, this is like, for me, dining is like my thing, right? I love food. Do you have any information on who's going to be running the restaurant there where Talise was, or is Talise coming back, or what's happening?
As far as we know, Talise is coming back.
Fantastic.
They've been our sponsor. When they started 2 years ago, they've been our sponsor for the last 2 years.
Wow.
So it's a great place, and it's about a 5-minute walk from the theater, so you can go have your meal there and then walk up and see the show afterwards.
It's a great spot. Yeah,
that really works well. So another really interesting thing about the show this summer, I think everybody knows Lindsay Krause, who is very famous in the theater world, in the movie world. She was nominated for an Academy Award, and she is going to be. She opens the show with me. Lindsay and I have a fireside chat, and it's very interesting. Lindsay's father, Russell Krause, wrote Sound of Music, Anything Goes, and Life with Father. And back in the 40s, he was a part of AVP when they first moved to Annisquam.
Oh, wow.
And so everybody in Lindsay's family has been involved with AVP. Her father wrote, we've done Sound of Music twice. We've done Anything Goes once. Her brother, Tim, rewrote Anything Goes. So that's the production we did. Her father wrote it and her brother redid it. And then Lindsay's mom, Anna, was in several Broadway shows. She was in one called Naughty Knot, and AVP did that. It was before my time, but they produced this show. But one of the things I remember the most about Anna, which is really amazing, we've done Sound of Music twice. I think it was our second time we did it. Anna came up. She had original music boxes from when the show opened in New York. And she gave a music box to every Von Trapp kid in our show. They were like 9 and 10 when they did the show. They're like 30 today. And they still talk about, wow, I've got that music box. It means so much to me. But that shows the involvement of the family. And Anna would often come down, particularly on shows that we did that were her family's, Anything Goes and Sound of Music. She would come, she would meet with me, she would give advice. I would invite her down to a rehearsal. And for the opening of Sound of Music, she gave a talk the night before, and she had all kinds of memorabilia from the opening in New York. And she had all of that, and she had it with her when she gave the talk to Annisquam. So
that's amazing.
She was an incredibly big part. But then Lindsay had a lead role in a 1966 production of AVP. And she's going to, I don't want to give it away, but she tells the story on Saturday night of how her father came to see the show and gave her some advice about becoming a professional actress based on what the show she did with AVP. So it's pretty exciting. And then both of Lindsay's girls were in show. They were in The King and I, and I can't remember what other shows they were in. So they got their start. And, her daughter Zasha is out in Hollywood now doing TV and stuff and movies. And she got one of her starts with the AVP in Annisquam.
Jesus, look at that. That's amazing.
So Lindsay and I have a really nice chat at the beginning of the show about her involvement and her family's involvement with AVP. So it's, I think, a really kind of neat opening to the show, and it gives some history to the AVP.
I love that. I love that everybody's going to be able to really see this. Being online, it's really just going to open it all up to universally anyone can chime in, which is going to be fantastic.
Oh yeah, we're very excited about that.
So, what time should people log on that night?
7:30.
7:30. Okay.
So you probably should come on a little bit earlier, so you have time to log on and then get into the show.
Mm-hmm.
And the show, it's I think about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. But we have plenty of songs and dances and some acting. And Bruce Tarr, our state senator, always has a little to say about it. And so he's going to be in there giving his way in. And our ex-mayor, Safathia, who was always a big part of it, she has some words about the effect it has on kids, not just in Annisquam, but in all of Gloucester. Absolutely. And what a wonderful experience is for kids to get involved in theater. It helps in so many ways. They learn how to communicate, to talk in groups, so it gets rid of stage fright. And one of the things I've loved over the years, a number of kids who started with AVP have asked me to write, when they go off to college, when they're seniors in high school, they have called me and asked me to write letters of recommendation for them. And they said the reason is they learned so much from their experience on the Annisquam stage of how to conduct themselves and communicate in public. And for public speaking, no matter what field you go into, you're going to end up doing some kind of public speaking. And the theater gives a great opportunity for kids.
I remember when I was in high school, I had a terrible voice, so I was always an extra. I never had like a big role because I couldn't sing. I had like blocked sinus passages and, tone deaf, blind, and everything else. And, but I had some of the greatest memories of my high school was, being involved with the school play, just because, there's a lot of downtime when other people are on the stage practicing and being a young teen with, hormones coursing through your body, like this,
right.
There's a lot of, I'm not saying, anything, bad happening, but like, it's an opportunity for, commingling and stuff like that, which is, it's a nice, with this parental supervision and way to socially integrate into society. It really is. It's a healthy thing.
A lot of the kids who've been in the shows have told me that they were in the shows 14, 15, 16 years old. They made friends there that are still their friends when they're in their 30s and 40s. So it's a great, you're right, Joe. It's a great opportunity to, particularly for the teens, to meet other teens their age who they wouldn't otherwise have known. They go to different schools and they develop their common interest in theater and things of that nature. So it's really been, I think, a wonderful experience in that regard. Yeah. And for the older actors, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, we have them up to the 80s or 90s even. Wow. And it's a wonderful combination of all ages and all talents. We always encourage people, they may not have the greatest talents in the world, come get involved. And we'll find a place for you. And finding a place for them is not just acting, on the big stage. It's whatever you're interested in. If you're interested in backstage stuff, learning the tech world, as in flying people and raiding on stage, it's a great experience to get involved in whether you want to be on stage, backstage. It's a great experience.
Also, set design. You work with your hands, like all kinds of different things, right?
Yes. Oh, the set design and costumes, and props. All those kind of things. We have a new website that we're working on now, and we're going back and getting pictures from a long, long time ago. And some of our sets are so stunning. I'd kind of forgotten how amazing they are. So it's a little bit of everything. No matter what your interest is, I think AVP's got a place for you. Great. And the choreographer and the music person and the directors, they make you look really good on stage. My favorite letter, it was a letter to the editor about 10 years ago from somebody not connected with the AVP. Didn't have a kid in the show, didn't have a relative. They just came from downtown Gloucester to watch the show. And they sent a letter to the editor afterwards. I'm trying to find it so I can publish it again. And it said, Gloucester people, you don't need to go to Boston to find phenomenal theater. You've got it right here in Annisquam for an Annisquam Village Players production. They said, this letter said, their productions are quite amazing. And so, I'd love to find that because it's, I think it says a lot about our group.
Well, if you do find it, why don't you, if you send it on over, I'd love to publish it on Good Morning Gloucester. That'd be fantastic.
That would be great. And Joey, we're waiting for you to come back.
The time constraints are just brutal.
Yeah, I know.
In the summer,
I know.
Exactly. Summertime is, as you know, with Tony Gross over there, another North Gloucester guy. When he was busy with the lobster industry, he was out straight too. So.
No, we certainly understand that.
Yeah.
Right. You'll go back. You'll go down to the annals of AVP because we've got that video of that show, and you will appear in that forever.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Terry. I can't stress enough. You can go to the website. I'm going to post the link one more time here. Here it is. And also, once you go to the website, and it starts at 7:30, I suggest logging on around 7:15, and there'll be a link that you can donate to this great cause through PayPal, which makes it super easy. And I can't thank you enough for all the work you've done in the community, Terry. I mean, everybody loves what you guys do over there, and it's just a blessing to have people like you donating your time. And I know it's a big commitment, but I know it's also a labor of love for you.
Oh, it's definitely a labor of love. It's so fun. So Saturday night, February it's the 12th, I think, at 7:30. And again, the show is free. So, you don't have to pay to watch it, but we encourage people to donate to the scholarship fund to keep these kids who show an interest in theater and who start with us. Let's send more of them off to Hollywood and to New York. That would be great.
I'll tell you, it's been pretty exciting the last couple of years as far as Hollywood and the Oscars. We've had, we have Coda now with 3 Oscar nominations, mainly filmed in Gloucester. And then we had the one from a couple of years ago with Casey Affleck.
Yes.
That had a Oscar nomination. So it's really going to be a great show, and this is just such a great starting point in providing those scholarships for needy kids to do great things with their lives, and it's all because of you and your organization and all the love and support. And I know that Lindsay has done a tremendous amount to put Gloucester on the map with what she what her time. That she doesn't need to do this. She loves to do this, and she loves to give back as well. So thanks again for everything that you've done, and everybody come on out and support the cause.
And thank you, Joey, and Good Morning Gloucester. It's great to have you guys as friends.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Nice to see you, Terry.
Okay, thanks a lot, Joey.
Little town with big news. 411, come get the scoop. Wake up with Joe and the rest of his crew. It's Good Morning Gloucester to you. Oh, it's Good Morning Gloucester to you. I say Good Morning Gloucester to you.